Please put your hands together for Mr. Abayomi Magbagbeola. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Distinguished guests, it's a pleasure to see you all again today. I mean, so as to ensure we have a very focused and productive conversation today, it's important that we remind ourselves what happened on day one, which was yesterday. I mean, I was glad that we had a room full and we had very clear words, not just from the public sector represented by the government, and that's the Lagos State government. As we all remember that the governor himself was here and he's made very clear commitments. We also have very clear words of commitment from the private sector. We had our captains of industries, as well as also members of the public, members of the civil societies, non-governmental organizations, community-based organizations, change makers who are MSMEs, as well as also circular economy enthusiasts. I mean, from the discussion and from the comments, the keynote of the governor himself, his restated commitment to leverage circular economy to combat climate change as it speaks directly to the team's agenda as proposed by the Lagos State government. We also heard very few words from respected and eminent personalities, including the representative of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment. We had also the Deputy Consular General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, who was here, also delivering the message and the goodwill message from the government and the Kingdom of the Netherlands. We had a regional director who was also represented, the regional director of UNIDO. Our very, very dear ambassador for circular economy from the Kingdom of the Netherlands also sent a video message. He would have loved to be here. And his message all bordered on the need to actually come together and build a sustainable and a resourceful economy, because it is us as partners, as well-wishers. They can only share their experience with us, but it is for us to actually look critically at our own situation, look at our own challenges, and also profile solutions as to how we want to solve that. And one of the high points of his message also was understanding the value chains, creating and supporting the value chains. If I move on now to the presentation by Lafarge, where they were talking about the principles of regenerative economy. Lafarge was here sharing with us the principles and model of how they themselves manage the waste within their facilities. And as we know, knowledge share is very important also for other companies, but also it gives opportunities for our change makers, our problem solvers, to identify other areas within the Lafarge value system and process system that they can actually profile solution to. We had two panel discussions yesterday, very interesting panel discussion, I must say, where we talked about policies, hubs, agencies, and the global treaties. We saw the role of the academia. We also saw the need, to break down silos. As we said, we've been all talking in our own little spaces, but now to break down those walls and bring the conversation, convert the conversation in. From our eminent personalities that included Torulope Ogunoga, Mr. Yomi Banjo, and Professor Adebisi. They gave us clear, recommendations as to how policies and the development of integrated hubs, focused hubs, can help also scale our transition towards circular economy. We looked at the second panel, which was talking about energy and circular economy, the just transition for Nigeria and beyond. We saw one of our panelists from the electricity distribution company. We also saw one of our consultants, the energy consultant, who spoke clearly about the role of individuals, the role of businesses, how they can also ensure that their strategies and solutions, their processes can begin to adopt those principles, designing waste out and ensuring that at least from our end, one-to-one, one step at a time, one company at a time, we do our part. One of the interesting things we also had yesterday was the role of digitization, the digital transformation, and we heard from our colleagues and partners from Estonia, where they also shared with us their own their own expertise, their own knowledge, their own experience, how innovation had been fostered, how innovation is being promoted to ensure that solutions are not coming from top, but it's bottom up. It's coming from the citizens themselves. One key thing that stood out also was attitudinal change, that there is need for very focused awareness and attitudinal change. And lastly, we heard from our chairman, who was the chairman, Lceh chairman of the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise. I mean, his presentation was very thought-provoking, where he also talked about the challenges of the MSMEs in terms of government support, in terms of policy direction, and in terms of also support to help them grow. And he created and painted a picture of what the impact of supporting the SMEs can also do to the revenue of the country, and thereby also ensuring that the whole secular approach towards driving a society is. I mean, I took one thing out from his own presentation and his submission yesterday, that as we know that two-thirds of our companies, two-thirds of the companies in Nigeria also, MSMEs are the bane of any society, and that we see across developed societies in terms of their support for their SMEs. We're also glad we have them here, some of them who are actually trailblazers, change makers, ensuring that they deliver, identifying a challenge, creating a solution, testing it through, and then also being able to show a model for that, for scale. I believe strongly that today we'll be looking critically at how we, will promote strategies for future development, and we'll be glad to hear and build on the conversation yesterday with our panel discussions today, as well as also the commitments and pledge that we all will make as individuals, as businesses, as companies, as officials, also as Lagos citizens. I believe also, and I wish all, will have a very lovely interaction today, and I will be joining in making the pledge. I also trust that you will be making the pledge and commitment to transit to circular economy today. Thank you very much.